So I was not able to find a lot of good songs recently, and I thought I'll go down the rabbit hole and see how it happens. Before I start, let me just give you a demo. So all you have to do is like you have to type the name of the song and the artist and whatever theme you want. Like you can change this. I'll give you the prompts and all later. These are the ones which basically Claude, based on the data that I provided, suggested would be good. So just a quick, so when I say data, I provided Claude like a set of 40-45 songs, and obviously the why do I like it? So yeah, so Beethelame as that strong KK vibe, right? And if you look over here, the songs which it gives as artists which have songs which are similar, I think, and then there's also a feedback loop wherein, so I like Alvida by KK. I like, this is like one of the all-time classics. Channa Mere, I think, would be debatable, but I can still understand why it gives it. Both are like, sad songs. Abija is very nice. Bin Tere is also very nice. It has also given similar English songs like Fix You, which is again nice. So all these ones that I like are feedback loops, which I'll explain later. Someone you love, very relatable to the song that I want, and obviously Codeline, all I want. All right. So I showed a quick demo, and now the why. So I have been searching out for songs, and I wasn't getting good recommendations recently. So I went down to understand how it all worked, right? So Spotify has like 600 million users, and even though it says it's personalized, it's like very to the level. How much can they personalize, right? I think I have been a product manager. I know how the user personas are built and all, and there is never like it is never a one-to-one mapping. And honestly, before AI, it wasn't even possible. You cannot make like one profile per user. You cannot have 600 million user personas. So but then when it comes to songs, right, I think people that like this may like that might work in Amazon shopping and all, but songs are like personal to a user. So one of my favorite songs is Meet Me at a Spot, and then if I just listen to the song, it's a different experience versus if I watch the YouTube video and I look at it, it's a different experience because it reminds me of my younger childhood wherein we used to play songs, we used to play sports in like a local area at the side in Thane where I'm from. So that is the whole essence of songs, right? If you look at Senorita, it gives that catchy vibe. All the songs from ZNMD for that matter, but then it's not just the catchy vibe and the song tags that it's given. It's basically more relatable because it gives the entire road trip vibe and all, right? I think you'll probably relate that if you just listen to a song standalone, it's a different experience versus if you add context to it, right, like movies or let's say a TV series or something, and if you listen from there, it's like a different experience. So with that logic in mind, what I did was I gave Claude around 50-55 songs, and the reason why I like it, it was a little extensive. The one that I'll show you is a little concise so that you can see through everything. Think of it as how you probably install dating apps or any apps that wants to understand you, right? It takes up a little bit of time, a little bit of discussion to understand you better, right? So when you have to personalize to a granular level, you need the AI to understand what kind of a person you are. So keeping that in mind, this is what I did. So this is basically a prompt wherein, and then if you see over here, right, all these songs are like my favorite songs and why I want to like it. Pure calm, feels like exhaling after a long day. The moment when you feel everything is possible. So it's very motivational. Like I think a lot of people will relate that I don't have a particular favorite artist, probably Linkin Park at one point, but not particular now. It's like all scattered, right? But everything boils down to something, some user behavior. So that's the whole point of this. At the end, I asked Claude to find the real patterns, which maybe I don't see, you don't see, or a human does not see, right? And then challenge anything that's off. I've given this the prompt and I've asked it to figure out patterns and everything. So it figured out patterns. I mean, I wouldn't agree with all of this. It gives a very Devdas kind of a vibe. I don't think that's what's happening with me. But what is nice is that it is able to find those patterns. And at the end of the day, if I'm getting songs that actually I like, actually I relate with, I think that's all it matters. So before that, what all would you need for this exercise if you all want to actually do it? Obviously, Claude Chat. Obviously, Lovable. Superbase for feedback loops, so where we store all our liked, disliked songs. And from there it references and it improves the entire system. And then obviously ACRCloud or odd.io key, which basically is for the Shazam part of the application, wherein you can just press on a voice button and then not. And Spotify system architecture. So first I think obviously songs and then reasons. Then Claude will do a taste analysis, which we just saw. Then we send it to last.fm API, wherein we will go into that in detail. Then personal Spotify, obviously the music discovery happens. We paste it onto Lovable, where the Lovable takes care of the front end and all the building. And obviously Cloud API, which basically is for the Shazam. Okay, so before I forget, we can do this entire exercise via Claude Code as well. I'll just put it up while I'm speaking. So the problem with Claude Code is I feel it is good when there is very less autonomy required in tasks, right? So in Claude Code, what happens is it basically asks you a set of questions and then you have to answer it. You cannot give it more context at that one prompt, right? So what happens is that Claude is very good at like context windows now. So even if your prompt is super big, it understands. You don't know what to do, how to do at the start, like you're learning on the go, right? And I learned this entire architecture literally 4-5 days back. So that way, and also the fact that Claude has this 45 messages per 5-hour limit, and if you keep doing back and forth on Claude Code, that limit gets hit. So this example of why I chose Claude Chat over Claude Code is possibly a nice example of how product managers work with constraints. So I could like very well take the Claude Max, but if it's possible with Claude Pro, then why overspend, right? I think that's something I learned at Amazon, frugality as a leadership principle. But anyway, so coming back to how the entire engine works and all. So for this particular thing, I needed a API. Spotify is the best, obviously it's the gold standard, but Spotify I think has restricted developer access from like 2024 end. So the next best option was obviously Last.fm. It's completely open. You'll get like a free API key. It has like 20 million songs. I don't know. It has like a huge database of songs. And another thing which I really liked about Last.fm was that it has like a lot of user generated data as well. A lot of this is not seen because this is the front end, but then you go on to the back end. It stores like a lot of data, which is very important for people to do the recommendation systems better. And then when you combine the AI or the Claude layer on top of that, it becomes like super personalized. So there is this thing called Scrobble. So what this Scrobble is basically like a lot of people, right? So if you look at this song, this has like 136k listeners. I'm pretty sure it will be more. For Muse by Jimin has like 500k listeners. And everyone reports their stats, right? So it's like 500 million people reporting every day what they're listening, why they're listening and stuff like that. And this human behavior is something which I don't know, I have not seen the actual data that comes from Spotify since it's blocked, but from the research that I did, I think this is something which is unique to Last.fm and it suits the use case better. So the next 2-3 minutes is a bit of gyan as to why the system I think works. You will also see the results at the end. I have gotten like a 80-85% accuracy of the songs it has suggested. Just remember these things. Just this song, it has like 471k listeners and it has like 240 million scrobbles. Like data on these 500k users data, right? So I'll just go on to Claude to explain this point better. So what happens normally in Spotify or your Apple Music or whatever is that it basically does collaborative filtering when it basically says that hey, people like this people who listen to this also like this. It's basically how a recommender system works. But then this has like a fundamental ceiling, right? Spotify, Apple Music only knows what you played and what people who like this song are also playing. But then they do not know why they played it, right? I like a song when it is basically in a TV show, like the Immortal Man release, the Puppet by Immortal Man. I really loved that song during the movie, but then after the movie it did not sit with me. So basically it's how we perceive it also becomes very important, which is why mood becomes very important, right? I think if you see over here, it shows that emotion scene engine, emotional mood detection. So song that I'll probably like when I'm very motivated, I won't like it when probably I need motivation or something like that. So this is where basically FM plus Claude comes in. So I like Afreen not just because it is Qawwali. I am not a Qawwali fan, but then I like it because of the quality of Rahat Ali Khan's voice. And Claude basically understands with the way that I've sent those 50 songs and the reason why I've sent it will understand, it will cross-relate it with the reasons that I've stated, and then it will give that song. Right? Another thing that it checks is that if I've given a similar reasoning for a completely different song, like I've given like a similar reasoning to Afreen to also Sayya by Kailash Kher. Two different entry points, two different songs, but the same emotional meaning, right? This is what normal Spotify recommender systems won't exactly give you. Not because it's impossible, but it's very difficult to analyze on a very granular level. Now what I did was that I took everything Claude suggested. Then I asked it to write a prompt which Lovable will understand. I gave like an entry which is there, which I just copy pasted as is. So if you see over here, it basically is like a build me app, and then modern glass formism is something which I found very fascinating when it comes to designs. If you see over here, it basically says layout, single app, the overall vibe should feel like everything, all of these things. So you remember I was talking about Scrobbler. So basically this is the API call that it is hitting on last.fm. Just to make sure that what we are talking about is what is happening. If you go down, it is also doing like a taste DNA summary, a text card wherein it shows a small short paragraph as to why a user will like it. Obviously, you'll have to enter the API keys of last.fm as well as ACRCloud. And then see, it is also adding on songs of the ones that I like, the artist. There's another array where it also maps these songs. There's another array which basically maps the reason as to why I like this song. And now when you go down, it basically, and then there is an entire thing. The good thing about Lovable is it first asks whether I should approve it, and then it has basically built it. If you go to the code section of it, right, I think if you go over here, it has everything, the mood. You know what's the best part? Nothing of this has been written, right? I've just known the outcome. I've just known what I want to do. I did a deep research on the product, which is how a product manager should be, and the engineering side, everything is taken care of by Lovable itself. So now finally, obviously, O Sanam is like everybody's favorite in India, not just mine. So what I did was I chose the contemplative mood. I did a discover and look at the songs it's recommended. Tu Re, another brilliant song by A.R. Rahman. GAQ, another brilliant song. It shows the similarity score. It also shows why I like it, the same soulful, nomadic longing and atmospheric production. I am not that good in English, so sare words to nahi samajh aa rahe. But this recommendation is nice, right? I know that Tu Re, I've listened to it, I'll definitely like it. Fir Se Ud Chala is also something I like it. Allah Ke Bande, again, an amazing song. Look at the recommendations, right? It takes the emotion which is there. Fast Car, if you have heard by Tracy Chapman, is also a brilliant song. Not similar to O Sanam, but then which is why the similarity score is less. And so I've put a small filter wherein I've been like the original language of the song, if it's Hindi, recommend me like more of Hindi, and other languages a little bit less. Now if I just click on warm and then I do a discover again, it will basically give out a different suggestion, and that is where the entire thing lies, right? Like when I want to contemplate it, though the earlier batch was nice, but when I want something warm and which also matches Lucky Ali's vibe, these are the songs. Teri Diwani, this is something I like. Alas Ke Ped is also warm. I definitely like it. I mean, Local Train is a brilliant brand. If you Local Train watches it, it's for them. I absolutely love it. Ik Tara is also a superb song. The Beatles, Here Comes the Sun is literally warm. I don't know if it took warm because there's the sun literally in the name. But Summer Breeze and stuff like that. So that is the whole brilliant of it, right? It recommends different. You ask it a similar song to the song that you like, and based on your mood, it basically suggests you some songs, right? I don't think Amazon Music or Spotify checks with you ki what mood. Like if I'm sad and if it gives me maybe, I don't know, some even sadder song, I'll get more sad. Right? But then if I mention that this is the mood that I'm looking for, it will recommend better songs. I've also added feedback loops over here. Since this is MVP 0, it only has a like, meh, and a dislike. It also has like a nice YouTube, so you can just go onto YouTube and it will show. Or it can also take you to last.fm as well. So from a feedback loops perspective, in the future, I'm planning to add like a voice button over here, because sometimes you want to give such feedback on the voice, on the recommendations that have come in, so that it gets better. Before I forget, you have to add your last.fm API key, you have to add your ACRCloud access key. I think this video is a little big. So this is the Shazam feature which is there. You just have to agree and then it basically does it for you. Now a few quick product thinking that I've done is that I have added what's your vibe today. You can directly go from here, you don't have to press it every time. It also shows the ones which I liked, so recent discovery. So the next time I come over here, it will also show what are the songs that I liked originally, and then it is also showing how much I've discovered, what is the hit rate, right? I've discovered 69 songs, I've liked I guess 66, 67 out of it. It also shows the taste profile that I have. So currently I'm leaning towards contemplative. It's not the right thing. Contemplative was at the most left, which is why it's skewed over here. It also shows the top tags, the genre breakdown, the artist affinity. These are the ones that I like. I've tested it a lot, which is why these names have come. And then a small profile on my taste DNA. It also has an history. This is basically stored in a local storage as of now. But if somebody picks it up, or if somebody pays me for this, I'll basically put it up on Superbase, and then it will be like a continuous loop, right? If you like Alas Ke Paid, and if you like 5 of Local Train songs, and then you press refresh again, it will suggest you even more better songs in real time, right? Right now it's local storage, but then I'll put it up on Superbase. So yeah, that's the first video. I hope you liked it. I know there's like lots to improve, the editing, the background, and honestly, I want to treat this like a product that I'm building. Want to see if it clicks, if there's actually value. I just don't want to be burning tokens and obviously time and effort as well. So, but then you like the concepts in the video. I'm looking to cover AI product, try to bring in people. So do support, do tolerate also. I think there will be a lot of breakages here and there. The goal is also to show that how far AI has come, how it can be incorporated in building products, and more importantly, how does the barrier to building has just gone now. Claude takes care of the planning, the coding and everything, and probably a tool like Lovable or something similar will just build it for you, right? I think even Google Stitch is nice for that matter. I've been experimenting with that. So yeah, I think if you tolerate, you'll probably learn, I think, good stuff. And where else would you find AI product and interesting projects to drive home the point, and a little bit of humor as well. We've already seen that this particular project has labeled me as a Devdas, so you'll find jokes as well. So yeah, come trauma bond with me and Claude Code, and see you soon.